As Democrats prepare for state primaries, the Republican Party has canceled GOP primaries in 4 different states. Former Congressman Mark Sanford and Joe Walsh and former Governor Bill Weld have all challenged the president.
In a joint op-ed, they call the move part of a, quote, effort to eliminate any threats to the president's political power in 2020. They go on to say, each of us believe we can best lead the party. Let us take our case to the public. Joining us for the Republican Party's response is Deputy Communications Director for the GOP, Cassie Smedile. Welcome, Cassie.
Good to see you, Cassie.
Good to be with you both.
Cassie, I mean, these candidates, they claim that, they want to make their case to the people. That's why these primaries should occur. The state response, I believe the president's response, is it's going to cost a tremendous amount of money. President Trump has 94% within the Republican Party. What's the point? What is the as the stakeholder of the GOP, what is the official case that the party infrastructure is making here in not wanting these to occur?
Well, as you just pointed out, it's not really a matter of us wanting it to occur or not. The state parties make the decision.
Sure.
Budget reasons dictate that decision often. And also that the president having an approval rating, even on his worst day, is still in the 90s. And we're talking about a party primary. That's a really good indicator of what is going to happen here. But here's the most underreported part of this. This is not abnormal. States cancel primaries every time you have an incumbent re-election. 10 states canceled during Barack Obama's re-elect, 10 for Clinton, or 10 for Bush, 8 for Clinton, 8 for Bush 41. Very normal. And so this is just, I commend them for trying to get their name ID up. But as Governor Larry Hogan said, who was also potentially mulling around, he said it's a kamikaze mission to do it while President Trump is so popular in the Republican Party.
You are correct that, and I actually didn't realize this. I was like, wait, you can do this? And you're right to say that this is a common thing that's done when there is an incumbent president. But what's obviously different here is that there typically aren't high-level challengers who are from the same party who are challenging the president. So that makes that a little bit unique. I mean, why not go ahead, and I know it's a state decision, but why not go ahead and let voters have their say if there's no threat here?
Well, a little bit more to that. When Barack Obama was going through his re-election process in 2011, there was a debate held in New Hampshire. 7 candidates appeared on stage. Barack Obama, not one of them. There were actually 15 candidates who made it onto primary ballots to challenge Barack Obama.
Any congressmen, any governors,
but the point is not abnormal. And I think I'll tell you, look at the list of people there. They might be names that we might know around this table. A couple of those people couldn't even get elected in their own primary. So I think when you're looking at really where the electorate is, it's one thing to sit around Washington with a couple of beverages and say, hey, I think you can do it. I think you can run for president. It's another thing to really understand where your party and the country is, and there's no one doing that better than Donald Trump. His approval rating on his worst day is still in the 90s. It is a kamikaze mission. Not my words, Larry Hogan's.
And I mean, listen, I think these people are creations of MSNBC, and they really are. I mean, they like Joe Scarborough and George Conway told them they should run, and I guess for some reason they listened to those political geniuses. But I mean, the real question, Cassie, is about dissent within the Republican Party. Is dissent allowed within the Republican Party? What do you think?
Of course. We look at data. Everybody can say what they want. You can feel how you want. You can even try to run for president. But when the data says this person in the White House right now is incredibly popular, and our party writ large likes where we're heading in this country. Not just even our party. We see Democrats at the rallies all the time. A rally tonight, I guarantee a great number of the people there will be registered Democrats. We see it all the time. By the way, not happening on the Democrat side today. You're not seeing that crossover. So it's not that people aren't allowed to do it. It's just, do you have a viable path to really make a run for it? And the data does not bear that out.
So, the Republican Party flew the socialism is going to ruin the Houston's economy or whatever banner over the Democratic debate. Got a lot of attention, right? I mean, obviously we know where you stand vis-a-vis the Democratic policies, but I wanted to ask you specifically on the issue of climate change. Democrats have the Green New Deal. I know you don't like that. But does the Republican Party have an answer? Does the Republican Party care about climate change? Is it focused on climate change?
Well, again, I think this is a misnomer. The reason why we don't like the Green New Deal, other than it's just not viable to cancel air travel or get rid of cows, is that it would cost an insane amount of money. Well, we don't know what's in it because it's a proposal, and all we have is the white paper that Ocasio-Cortez put out.
Well, we know what the presidential candidates are running on, but I don't want to hear about. I know why you don't like the Green New Deal. Okay, cows and hamburger, we get it. Okay, but what is the Republican Party's position on climate change?
But the point is that this is a misnomer. The Republican Party very much in favor of conservation. I mean, heck, Trump straws sold out all over America. Impossible to get them. The Democrats would love to make this a thing that Republicans just want to go burn oil in a field. That's not true at all. In fact, what we're most in favor of when it comes to a responsible look at our environment is to let the market dictate what the needs are. Let the people and the buyer and the consumer.
We know what the market dictates. The market dictates. The market doesn't internalize any of the costs of pollution. That's the problem. I mean, it's a classic definition of an externality. That's the problem. That's a classic flaw with the market that you learn about in like Econ 101. So how do you deal with that?
But when you want to talk about nuclear energy, that's a zero emission energy option, right? That's great. The market has said that's a technology we want to explore, and people writ large are for it. And the Green New Deal, everybody on the Democrat
get into the details of this because I know people's eyes will glaze over. Nuclear power is actually not market driven. It's heavily subsidized by the government. The cost the cost doesn't work out if you don't have heavy subsidies for new creation.
I think the point is that is the case for everything. But I also want to get to this rally in New Mexico, which I know that the president will be speaking at. Why choose New Mexico for a rally? I thought that was a pretty interesting decision, and a lot of people in politics were surprised by that.
Well, we look at data. The president doesn't go anywhere without the data informing that decision. So they're looking at, is New Mexico at play? Is it on the map? We know we've got a lot of supporters down there. We know, I was just there, we had our winter meeting there, and the local news coverage that night was about the border and about how ranchers had just had some of their employees kidnapped, and they live in fear. Far different narrative than what you see in the national mainstream media every day. And it's interesting when you talk about and look at what's happening locally, people are saying, I support what President Trump is doing. I don't want him to take his eye off of this. So when you look at New Mexico, it was a very close race in 16, again in 18. I think the president's saying we've got a shot here. So let's check it out.
What other states would fit in that category that Hillary Clinton won in 2016, but that you think you could turn red this time around?
So New Mexico is the first one we've seen them actually publicly go out on by having a rally there. But we've also heard the president's campaign manager talk about what you see in Portland, Oregon, right in downtown Portland. It's not safe to go there anymore with Antifa, and there's been Democrat control there for a while. That's an area where we're going to start exploring, and we've got people on the ground seeing what's possible and what makes sense there. So it's not so much which states are we putting on the map, but it's when you've got the resources and the funding, they are playing around with areas of the map because there's a lot of frustration amongst people that have just been taken for granted by the Democrat Party.
They certainly do have quite a bit of money in the war chest. Cassie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Great to see you.
Coming up on Rising, as we look forward to the next month's primary debate, many are still reacting to the candidates' performances last week.
So who knocked the ball out of the park? Senior advisor for the Bernie Sanders campaign, Chuck Rocha. Won't surprise you his answer. We'll get his take when Rising rolls on.